you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Climate is king.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough. 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 If we care enough.
I'm red. Okay, KK. Jeans up. Little scrub. I got money. Be a me. Money in the bank. See you,
I got money in the bank.
Yeah.
Shout out what you drink. I got money in the bank.
Yeah.
Shout out what you drink. I got money in the bank.
Yeah.
Shout out what you drink. I got money in the bank.
Yeah.
Shout out what you drink.
I'ma get that.
Welcome to Wealth Building Wednesdays, where we center Black, women, and BIPOC-owned businesses, highlight opportunities and initiatives for underrepresented entrepreneurs, and center socially innovative enterprises, building generational prosperity, fostering real networking, and recycling Black dollars. It's Wealth Building Wednesdays on KBLA Talk 1580.
It is an exciting Wealth Building Wednesday because I'm inviting in one of my friends who's also an entrepreneur, and of which I am probably a leading proponent of his business. His company is called Tresses by Tramel. He's a celebrity hairstylist specializing in creating modern styles, working with your own actual hair. He's said to have growing hands, and I'm certainly a testament to that. And he works with every ethnicity, texture, and style of hair. Tramel Borner, good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. Thank you so much for having me on your show this morning. And that was a heck of an intro. Thank you so much.
Well, that's the least I can do. You've been making me look good for years.
That's easy work. That's easy work.
So, Tramel, you hail from it. You hail from Texas, but you really built up your hairstyling business in Atlanta. Atlanta is, the home of
Yes,
of the lace front and the big wigs and all the, crazy. They got some crazy hair things going on there. But
yes,
but you have locks yourself, and you kind of do a mix of stuff, right?
Yeah. When I was in Atlanta, I learned how to do a lot of things. Of course, I have dreadlocks, and I've been doing those for a long time. When I moved from Texas to Georgia, I decided to broaden my horizon, do other things, learn different hair types and textures, even a little bit of wig work, So, of course, we have to, be well-rounded in this industry in order to succeed,
Yeah, for sure. But one of the things I love about Tramel, and this is going to sound petty, but he does my hair so fast. Like, I'm used to going to the salon, and you basically have to stake out the whole day. You're going to be there all day waiting to have your hair done. Not Tramel. You go in, you get a blowout, you'll be done in like 45 minutes. Do you? I at first I was like, "You're done? How can you be done?"
Yeah.
I got my day back. So I love that. That sounds petty, but for those of us who are working women, that is really a big deal.
Well, I picked that skill up between photo shoots, runway work, and stuff like that. You don't really have that much time. So to do a good job and to have a lasting hairstyle, of course, is one of my specialties. I don't rush it, but I don't have to take all that time that it used to take to get your hair done to accomplish one goal,
I'm not going to lie. When I first met you, Tramel, I was like, even though you were referred by my friend Vanetta, who is a skincare
Vanetta.
diva, and she's amazing. So, I take her advice. But I was a little put off by the fact that so many of your clients are white women. I was like, this guy ain't gonna be able to do my hair. He over here doing hair for white girls, Asians, like everybody. As a tall black man with locks, I was like, wait, what?
Well, yeah, when you met me, I was working at a salon in Santa Monica. So, I don't turn away any client. So when you met me, I was definitely doing a lot of white women hair, but I can do everybody's hair, no matter what nationality, what grade it is. I can do everybody's hair. So when we met each other, we definitely took a chance, and here we go 4 years later.
Yeah.
Almost 5 years later, we are still here. Your hair looks amazing.
Thank you.
Never broken, never brittle, never dry, none of that.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked when people started asking me if I have a weave. I'm like, no, I have Tramel.
That's actually a huge compliment. When people ask, oh, is that a wig? That must mean it looks so good that it can't be real.
It can't be real. Yeah.
When I see the comments on your page, I always giggle about it and just heart them and just move on.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a tough business that you're in, right? I mean, there's lots of stylists, especially for black folks. There's a lot of black salons, and in Hollywood, the competition is fierce. It's tough to get into these unions and stuff, and yet, you've been able to carve out a place for yourself pretty quickly. What do you attribute that to?
Yes, I have, but I'll give all the praises to the creator for that. And I also, just to have to tap myself on the back, I am good at what I do.
Yes.
I do professional work. I show up. I'm almost never late, and if I am, I'll definitely give you that text. But I show up, and I have a good energy, good attitude, positive vibes, and I just I had a goal in mind when I moved to Los Angeles. And it was to become an entrepreneur, but I didn't know I was going to move this fast. You can see my work on billboards. You can see my work in magazines, on some of these movies that you'll be watching soon. So I didn't expect it to move this fast, so I'm always ever grateful. But I tell you, I'm proud of myself for keeping my eyes focused on my prize.
And of course,
no one else's.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Not no one else's race, but my own race. So. I stay focused on me and bettering myself. I can always learn something new about hair, whether it's the style, the strengthening of, anything. I can always learn something new, so I don't turn down those opportunities.
There's been a lot of advancements, right? I mean, you're always coming up with another product, another style, another technique for doing hair that some of us are not keeping up, right?
Well, yeah, but, I do everyday hair. I mean, I do set work and shoot work, but for the everyday girl, I like to create a style that you can wear every day and possibly reproduce at home. Whether I tell you how to do it or you already know how to do it, So I like movable, workable hair.
Yeah. And how do you make our hair grow? Like, how do you do that? I'm
trying
to figure it out.
It's in my fingertips. I don't know. I do hair from a place of love. And so it's like growing your plants in your garden. Like I do it from a place of love. So it's all in my fingertips. And yes, it's the product that I use, nothing too abrasive. And after I get to know your hair, me and your hair has a relationship now. So I can cultivate that garden on my own. Even my own hair, I do the same thing with. But it's mostly in my fingertips. And I just think it's my personality and the energy that I put behind doing great hair.
Yeah. And you said, I'm never late. So at this point, you're mostly a mobile hairstylist. I think that probably came out of the COVID era, right?
Yeah. During COVID, us hairstylists, makeup artists, and other industry workers, we had to find alternatives. So I started doing hair mobilely, and which has actually benefited me into my favor. I can show up, I can spend an hour and 2 hours with each other, and then, go on. You can finish the rest of your night. And I'm not late, and this is LA traffic. So in order not to be late, I have to leave my house early enough because you're the client. You're paying for a specific service at a specific time. And this is Los Angeles. Time is money. You might have something else to do tonight. So, yes, I am a mobile service, and I literally pride myself on being on time.
Yeah, it's and that's also real convenient for busy people who may be doing a lot of different things. So those of you who really enjoyed watching all the fantastical, everyday, and wild and whimsical hairstyles that we were featuring during our run on Fox Soul. This is the man behind the magic, and a lot of you are always asking me, so I thought it would be lovely to meet and introduce Tramel Borner. Tresses by Tramel is where you can find him on Instagram. Tresses by Tramel. And you can follow him there. I thought it would be really lovely to meet you and to really promote a Black-owned, 100% Black-owned, Black-run business that is doing amazing. I thank you so much, Tramel. Great customer service. Always when I want to try something, can we make me look like Erykah Badu? Can I have?
This is one of my favorite looks.
Right?
One of my favorite looks that we've done, and I'm glad that you take me there.
Yeah, I need this Erykah Badu look. I need to, what do you mean I don't have that? Tyra Banks has a weave, and I want the same look. Like, work it out. Can we get a piece? And he always finds a way.
Get a couple of pieces.
Yeah, put it in. You always find a way. So thank you so much for joining us today. What do you want folks to know about Tresses by Tramel?
Tresses by Tramel is open to serve everyone in the Los Angeles community. He's a great person, great hairstylist.
Yes.
He welcomes all.
All right. And we reach out. Should they reach out? Should they reach out to you?
You can hit me up on Instagram, Tresses by Tramel, or you can call my business phone, which is 404-552-1632.
Don't let the Atlanta area code fool you. Although he does visit you sometimes, you can't have him back. 404-552-1632, 404-552-1632, or Tresses by Tramel on Instagram. Tramel, thank you so much for all you do, and thanks for checking in with us today.
Oh, thank you so much, Dominique. I'll be seeing you soon.
Indeed, you will. In fact, yes, the color, yes, curly, straight, natural. He's all of those looks. I'm going to Tramel. We'll be talking with Ed Sanders next and take a look at what happened yesterday on the national landscape. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
If you're looking for the most epic place on earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
THE Health and Wellness Centers, celebrating 50 years since 1974 when it started as THE Clinic for Women. Then THE Clinic for Women became THE Health and Wellness Centers, providing quality care for everyone. Learn more at tohelpeveryone.org.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick. Sorry, kids.
Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
So you just used bug spray in your home. Now what? Well, between the waiting and waiting for things to dry up and keeping your family away from the mess, it hits you. You could have used Zevo. Unlike other bug sprays that stick around, Zevo goes from kill to clean in seconds. Plus, it's safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Zevo, people-friendly, bug-deadly.
On your period, sudden gushes happen without warning. But now, you can say goodbye to stand-up gush fears. Thanks to Always Ultra Thins with rapid dry technology. It absorbs gushes 2 times faster than the leading store brand and gives you up to 100% leak-free protection. Hello, clean and comfortable. with always fear no gush.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
And he is the founder of ES Advisors and the president. He's also a contributor to KBLA, and you've seen him on Fox Soul and other places. Ed Sanders, good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. How are you doing? Happy election day.
Exactly. I'm good. How are you?
Not bad. Up and excited. Great segment listening to Wealth Building Wednesday segment. Excited to get into the day.
Yeah, that's funny. I've had celebrities like DM me that I don't even know trying to get Tramel's number. Like, oh, you didn't even say hi to me, but you want my hairstylist? Okay. So, looking at the national scene a little bit, I mean, I suppose you probably have some opinions on the local as well. I try to separate them by hour, but, it's one election. Were you surprised Nikki Haley dropped out? Let's start there.
No, the writing was on the wall, as they say. It takes a lot of money to continue a presidential election, and it's pretty clear that Trump and Biden are headed for a rematch. As of last night, there just aren't enough delegates to formally award the nominations, but. There doesn't seem to be, there is not a path for Nikki Haley to get the nomination. So, and as you can imagine, her fundraising is probably stalled out.
Yeah, well, the Koch brothers backed off from underwriting, but she had said she was going to, try to wait till the convention in case people changed their minds and wanted to give her their delegates. So, I kind of was disappointed. Not that I like Nikki Haley. I mean, she's clearly a Confederate, but I felt like by her staying in, she was, at least keeping him from getting top secret information briefings, at least keeping him, well, he doesn't get that until he's the official nominee, but at least keeping him from such an easy path. And I felt like getting on his nerves was a good thing.
Yeah, well, it gave him a focal point. I think her presence actually helped him more than hurt him.
Really?
For him, he needs that target. From a Trump perspective, whenever you hear him speak, he's complaining about something. He's complaining about her. He's complaining about Biden.
He's such a snowflake.
Yeah, he's never forward looking, right? He's never talking about what he's going to do or what he's proposing to do. It's nothing that. So, you take out a target and okay, so now he focuses solely on Biden. That gets exhausting. And the point being, what Haley always referenced was that there's always been a portion of Republicans that don't support Trump, that are turned off by him. You still don't have a really good sense of what is the size of that base.
I mean, but she didn't do that miserably. I think that there was somewhat of a sense of the size of that because she's getting, she's getting a lot of votes, not enough to actually challenge him, but it's not, it's not the 1% and 2% that we see with a lot of these sort of third-party candidates, right?
Right, exactly. And if you're the front runner in Donald Trump, the real question is how many of those Nikki Haley votes are really just anti-Donald Trump and won't vote for Trump in the fall, right?
Yeah.
Or can he consolidate the base and expand the base? It's a conversation for him. Clearly she won Vermont. She didn't get completely shut out. She had the backing of Governor Sununu, I think, up in Vermont, and he had been outspoken. Vermont always has a different brand of republicanism, but very clearly they went for Haley.
I mean, the thing about that is that she's different in her packaging, but her actual policy, she's pretty much the same as Trump. I mean, she's a Confederate. She's a hard right wing, just in a better package. She's younger and doesn't look as crazy. She doesn't paint her face orange, but basically they're very similar.
Oh, absolutely. She's a former governor of the state of South Carolina, so she is exactly what you would expect her to be. I think, honestly, for her, I think there was a reckoning where I think the majority of the Republican base across the country didn't realize that she had a mixed heritage. And, I think there was a big turnoff to her once that Republican base realized that she wasn't, Nikki Haley, South Carolina darling, that she was actually of mixed heritage. As much as she wanted to stand up on that and sort of paint that as a plus for her, I think with the Republican base, it was a distinctive turnoff.
Yeah. So last night's election was a huge victory, really, for both Trump and Biden. I think people downplay the victory for Biden because of his polling numbers, but I mean, he swept and won solidly. They weren't like, it's not like people were not weighing in. Trump won everything, as you say, except for Vermont, which only has a few delegates. But Trump did not get the nomination, but he basically has the nomination, right? It's just a matter of days.
Right, correct. And that's true for both of them, right? There haven't been enough primary elections and delegates awarded to reach that official number. So it's not anything that either candidate has done. In fact, they are probably farther ahead now. I don't know that I've ever seen a presidential primary season where the front runners have this thing more or less locked up, this early, right?
Yeah. I mean, the incumbent president usually does, right? I mean, they're rarely are they going to switch. I don't know why this persists. People keep telling me, like reasonable people keep telling me that the Democrats are going to get a different nominee, and that's completely fantasy, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, look at what you have. You have two former presidents, right? Like that, it's highly unlikely that really any candidate could see a path to collecting the nomination. I mean, it would take a catastrophic event to sort of force that scenario. But as it were, if both men remain healthy, you can expect them to be the nominees as we go to vote in November.
Yeah. Jason Palmer, I guess, won one primary against
the American Samoa. I love that.
Yeah, the American Samoa.
I saw that, and I can only imagine. I want to know who he is, but he probably went door to door and
talked to every actual voter.
Yeah, and I'm jealous. I mean, can you imagine campaigning in the American Samoa? That's got to be a lot of fun and exciting.
Yeah,
at least relaxing. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know what it means. It means he can say he beat Biden in one primary, I guess. But as you pointed out, this is shaping up to be what everyone claimed they didn't want, which is a rematch between Biden and Trump. What do you think that really means in terms of voter turnout, voter enthusiasm, the future of our country?
I think we're still in sort of this. It's really interesting. Like I think both parties are paralyzed, right? Both parties, and if you take them one at a time, the Democratic Party, there's a new generation, and it will come to fruition after the Biden campaign here, right? Like after Biden, I think you move to a completely new generation of Democrats. And you've seen a significant number of retirees or people stepping down in the House leadership. You saw Nancy Pelosi. That age group of leaders is stepping down. On the Republican side, you see McConnell stepping down. Trump, who hasn't always been a Republican leader, is of that age group. And after this run, he'll be done, So you kind of look forward to the 4 years after this race. And I think you'll get a transformative candidate at that point. But for now, it's going to be a holding pattern, particularly if Biden wins. If Trump wins, it's mayhem. But I don't see that.
I mean, but it could. I mean,
it could.
You're not at all disturbed by all this polling that's showing Trump beating Biden?
Yes. I mean, like, listen, I don't want to go to sleep at night knowing that Trump is the president again. I do think that once the two are facing off, the comparison of policies and results and sort of the reckoning, I do think Biden wins. I don't think he's the strongest candidate. I just think once it's a binary choice that he will eke out the presidency.
I'm thinking maybe he should get like a makeover, like Biden, like he should go consult with the Kardashians. All of them look about 20 years younger than they are. Like they could give him a new hairstyle and a sexy walk, and like people already tease him for using Botox and stuff, but I think he needs more. Like maybe, because to me it doesn't make any sense. Both of them have senior moments. Trump and Biden both have senior moments. Trump actually said he was running against Obama the other day. Right. He's made some really bad slips, and they're both old. They're both out of shape. They're both from another era. But only Biden seems to pay a price for that. So I'm thinking the Kardashian makeover might be the way to go.
Yeah, it's funny. All right. Let me bring a conversation up that I was having the other day. I agree with you in his makeover. I think Biden tries to stand as like past American presidents, right?
Right.
He tries to be the statuesque male, alpha male, and most presidents are tall, so he's got sort of this physical presence, and he tries to have that. And I honestly think he should kind of go the other way. I mean, like he's America's grandfather, right? And,
right. Yeah,
right,
be
like,
warm and cuddly, right?
side.
Exactly. Not too cuddly though. Not too cuddly, Joe. Yeah, I mean, I don't expect the guy to break dance, but I need him to try a little harder, I don't want him to dye his hair red either. But I think or put on self-tanner, but I think a makeover might help. And maybe you're right. Maybe it's a demeanor makeover rather than more Botox and more fillers, more the BBL.
Yeah, but I also think he needs to highlight, I think he needs to bring more of his cabinet forward. And sort of as surrogates.
Right. That it's not just him, it's a team. Yeah, you're getting a whole team. Yeah, it's a good point. We've got news, traffic, and sports, then more conversation. We'd love to hear from you, 800-920-1580. It's Ed Sanders and Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday, March 6th. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says the wildfires that have torched the Panhandle are nothing short of catastrophic. He toured the area by helicopter. The Smokehouse Fire is now the largest in Texas history. 70% of Hemp Hill County has burned, dozens of families have been displaced, and the fires have been deadly. In Illinois, the man charged with killing Chicago police officer Ella French nearly 3 years ago is guilty on all charges. A jury convicted Amonte Morgan yesterday on 1 count of first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. The defendant was convicted of gunning down the African-American officer and seriously wounding Officer Carlos Yanez during a traffic stop in 2021. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Robert Half research indicates 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Their recruiting professionals use proprietary AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers and Clippers are back in action tonight. The Clippers are in Houston. James Harden played 9 seasons in H-Town before moving on to Brooklyn. 4:30 tip-off on ESPN. The Lakers are at home against Sacramento. A win moves the Lakers into the 8th and final playoff spot in the Western Conference. 7:30 tip at Crypto.com. Congratulations to USC freshman Juju Watkins. She was voted Pac-12 Conference Freshman of the Year. The Compton native is also a first-team all-conference selection. She broke 3 USC records. Most points for a freshman was 751, most points in a game, 51 at Stanford, and most games with 30 or more points, 11. The Chargers cut 9-year veteran linebacker Eric Kendricks to save $6.5 million in salary cap space. The former UCLA star lasted only 1 season with the Chargers. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Girl, I have a secret. When I get stressed out, I get sweaty. That's why I use Secret Clinical Antiperspirant. It's like my own secret weapon. For 72 hours, I get Secret's strongest protection against sweat caused by stress, heat, and activity, because you know how crazy life can get. Plus, it's made with advanced odor fighters that don't just cover up smelliness. They help prevent it from happening in the first place. Believe me, if I weren't wearing Secret, I'd be a hot, smelly mess. Thankfully, Secret works.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a new Samsung Galaxy A15 for just $99. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah! Good talk.
Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. In-store activation on single Silver Unlimited plan or higher required. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows the Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
The thing no one tells you about periods is that your flow changes every day, and so should your tampon size. Tampax has 5 absorbencies to match your changing flow. If it hurts to remove, go down a size. If it leaks, go up a size. Only Tampax has a leak guard braid to help give you up to 100% leak and odor-free protection. All-day comfort and protection for under $5 a month. Based on average U.S. consumer usage at manufacturer suggested price. However, pricing is at the sole discretion of the retailer. Excludes 8-count.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the voice of reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
So much to cover, so little time. Ed Sanders joins me. You're welcome in. 800-920-1580. All right, so just spending a little bit more time on the top of the ticket here. We said, Biden wins handily, Trump wins handily, but the protest vote continues to be an issue for Biden. And I have said, and I still believe this, that the conflict in Gaza could cost the president re-election. I really believe that. I think what we saw in Minnesota last night, and that wasn't the only, in Colorado, the non-committed vote was 8%. No preference vote in North Carolina, 13%. These are people that are mostly people that are sitting out because they're angry about the U.S. position in Gaza. And in a close election, what you're describing, Ed, this could be enough to tank a Biden reelection. Thoughts?
Yeah, agreed. Listen, I think almost from the very start of the response in October, you could, within 2 to 3 weeks, you could see that that this president was going to have a very serious problem with voters within his base, particularly. And that, there was going to be a faction, and he still is going to have that. I mean, you can point to probably his chief rival on the Democratic side in Bernie Sanders. The juxtaposition of their positions on the conflict can pose a problem for him. That this is one of those issues for a lot of voters that, there's just there's a moral line that you can't cross. And the support of the violence there on Biden's by Biden and by the administration can cost him and should cost him and will cost him a series of votes. Now the next question is it enough votes in key states to cost him the election?
Right.
Trump on the other side of the equation has all of the elements that got him impeached, and you've heard the same.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you've heard the same thing from Republican voters where it's like, I can't support him. And, we talked about that vis-a-vis Nikki Haley, but they both have these lines of demarcation that they've sort of gone through with their base. And I don't think anyone can really truly judge what it's going to look like in November.
Yeah, that's great points. It's just, because we also don't know if those protest voters would pivot to Trump. I seriously doubt that. But, even if they stay home, that's going to be a problem. The other thing with Trump, according to the New York Times, they're saying Trump's trouble spot is the fact that the Nikki Haley votes shows that he's soft in certain areas, and some of those voters, as you said, won't show up at all. And probably the biggest glaring problem for him is the educated voter, people with college degree. He lost to people with college degrees. 80% of people with no college degree, Republicans with no college degree, voted for Trump. But he
voted against. Was it voted for or voted against? Was it 80%?
80% without a college degree voted for Trump. And even so we're talking North Carolina, right? He won North Carolina only 51 to 45% among Republicans with college degrees. Republicans with college degrees, just once they get educated, the support for him just nosedives.
Right. And I think there were trends of that last go round as well. And he's never really appealed to the educated base in the country, period, whether Republican or Democrat. It's obviously more stark if you're a college-educated Democrat. But that is almost true of the Republican Party, in past elections. They build their coalition on less educated white voters across the country. I mean, that's their coalition base, and that has been true. I think the challenges that we have for our own community is watching how that community receives its news, how it interprets its news, and what motivates it. And that's the sad part about this whole Trump candidacy is it pulls on, doesn't pull on, it's built on racial tropes and sort of isolationist, anything red meat for uneducated whites across the country.
Yeah.
And it doesn't speak to the future of a highly educated country. That's for sure.
Well, Paul Lee says if Biden keeps the blue wall, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, he'll win re-election. A forensic accountant says, I'm not going to let what's going on in the Middle East sway me. I'm voting for Biden in the general no matter what. Though as a financial crimes fighter, a Trump presidency would be a gold mine. Yeah, well, okay. It's also a talk radio gold mine, but I'm not willing to allow my country to go down in flames just so I can have stuff to talk about. I'll find stuff to talk about. Look, I got to pivot. Speaking of going down in flames, I got to pivot for a moment back to local because Kevin De Leon is a leading candidate in CD14. It will be a runoff, which is a good thing. But I was just really disappointed, and Paul Lee in the chat said, no, it's not surprising. He says that it means people vote their interest. Okay, but the candidates running against De Leon are Latino, other than Jurado, who's Filipina. But so it's not like, it was De Leon versus, Muhammad Ali or something. They're all Latino candidates. They're all arguably progressive or at least centrist. So to me, it's not just, we can't just write it off as, Latino voters are going to Latino vote. I mean, to me, this is just shameful that that this guy even stands a chance, even in a crowded primary.
I know. We've talked about Kevin multiple times.
Yeah, you're much more calm about the whole thing than I am. I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, first things first, 70% of that vote did not vote for him. And
that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way you view that, right? Yeah, the incumbent member did make it to the runoff, but 70% of the district voted against him. And, there were some significant candidates in that race. He was facing off against 2 assembly members. So there's
I mean, if you put it that way, 73% voted against him.
Right. And that's a big margin for an incumbent to rally to get to. Like, if you're not 50 or close to 50%, the general consensus is that, races like this are not going to end well for him. But, I think what you saw is what I would have expected is that the incumbent member of city council and city council represents the office that is closest to you as a resident. It's it's the person that turns on those with water and power, the potholes, that sort of thing. And I'm not surprised that he did pull. What was it, 27%?
Yeah, so far 20%.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that he pulled that much. I mean, there's been that number of people in the district that have dealt with him for that many years. I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't look at it with disappointment.
Well, I do feel a little better now that you put it that way, but I'm more than disappointed. I'm mad because for me the symbolism of it is all bad. And we should do better. But sounds like you think we will in November, so that's a good thought. We're talking with Ed Sanders and you're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Hey, what are you doing up on the step stool?
About to clean these light fixtures. The whole family's coming over, and if there's even a speck of dust in the house, my abuela will find it.
Here, I got a Swiffer duster to help with that.
A Swiffer what?
A Swiffer duster. It has this cool extendable handle that reaches 6 feet to get high and low, with fluffy dusters that easily trap and lock dust.
So, no more step stool?
No more step stool.
Easily trap and lock dust from hard-to-reach places with the Swiffer duster. Love it or your money back.
Have you fallen behind on your water and power bill? LADWP has made paying your past due bills even easier. Sign up anytime online for Level Pay to get set monthly bills that include past due amounts. Or check out the special extended payment arrangements of up to 48 months to help pay down your bill. Visit ladwp.com/cares and sign up today. That's ladwp.com/cares.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. Visit jpmorganchase.com/racial equity and get the tools to help reach your financial goals.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chucha's opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chucha's Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're looking for the most epic place on Earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
And hopefully that's what happens in November. Talking with Ed Sanders. And I love your spin on the whole KDL situation. Do you have a good spin on Adam Schiff? Because what they're calling the Garvey effect, right, of activating all these Republican voters. Schiff spent about $10 million to do that because he wanted to kick butt on Garvey rather than having to face a progressive woman in Porter or Lee. Looks like just by the margin of victory that Schiff has here that he probably didn't need to do all that. But now he's already activated those Trumpy peoples to the polls. With Garvey coming in second, I'm sure it probably did impact down ballot races, and they're going to show up in the general because it's now Garvey versus Schiff. So even if when Schiff kicks his butt, which we imagine he will, those folks are still going to be activated to come out. Thoughts?
I don't know how to measure what impact his efforts activated Republican voters, right? Like that's a big assumption.
I don't know. I mean, Garvey went from almost nothing to, coming almost tied with Schiff. I mean, he came into the race late. He didn't buy himself one single ad. He didn't campaign. He had a miserable showing in the debates, and then he disappeared.
Yeah, but he's the one Republican, true Republican candidate in the race, and so he's going to pull any Republicans that come out. I always thought Garvey had a really good chance to get in the runoff just on that, right? Like it always seemed like it was going to be if you were going to be Barbara Lee, Katie Porter, or Adam Schiff, your task was to get into the runoff.
Right.
Once Garvey got in, because Garvey was going to make it. And, whatever the Schiff campaign thinks they did to activate Republican voters, I find that that's an assumption that I hope that I wouldn't be able to be activated by Republican campaign strategists. Let me put it that way. And
you're
so
saying they were hanging out in the race. They were going to vote anyway, and they just voted for the only Republican.
Yeah. I mean, what did he do? Go down and get people that never vote come to the polls to vote for Garvey? I don't think.
No, I don't mean people that never vote. I mean people that, they weren't enthusiastic because there wasn't a lot of, fun stuff for Republicans on this particular ballot, So
True.
Hopefully you're right.
It's also
but
so much easier to vote now. You can do it from your home, so it's not like it's, you got to get up and go through the snow and rain as a Republican to cast your vote. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that.
It's so ironic because they, Trump has gone so hard against the mail-in ballots, but the Republicans are still doing them. And he says that our elections are rigged, but he was out there celebrating a win last night. So make it make sense.
They're only rigged if he loses.
Okay, right.
And that goes for almost every Republican. They feel, if they lose a race, somehow they were cheated out there.
Yeah. It's called the sore loser syndrome. Most of us grew out of it by the time we reached the age of 8. What do you think about the DA's race? I'm pivoting back to LA because I think, to me, that's just super important. The incumbent. And by the way, I haven't mentioned Holly Mitchell easily won her race. Janice Hahn Janice Hahn stomped out Villanueva. I just wanted to throw in some good news there.
Yeah, and those were big races, right? Like redistricting changed both of their districts, and to be honest, Holly's race absorbed some cities that made this a curious question, right? When you add some of the beach cities like a Manhattan Beach or Redondo Beach into her district,
I see.
That changes the electorate. And so, really, really glad to see Holly, solidify her base and do very well last night. And the same thing with Janice Hahn. So she picked up some new districts or new communities. And then you throw in, Sheriff Villanueva. I don't even want to call him Sheriff, but let's just call him the Villanueva, just
Mr. Villanueva, yeah.
And there are portions of Janice's district that respond to more conservative, messaging, but really glad to see her prevail and prevail strongly. So,
yeah, and you're right. I didn't think about that, but I do think it's great news, and I also think I just love the messaging of go sit down, Villanueva, have all the seats. Congratulations going out to Janice Hahn. That's bigger than just, her district because that guy was really a menace in office. So DA's race, Gascon with 21% so far. This is from the LA County Registrar of Voters, updated as of 2 a.m. They're still counting votes. These could shift. But it looks like Hochman is right behind him, Nathan Hochman, who is at around 18%. And then, Hatami. I thought it was interesting, though, if this holds, that the top 2 doesn't include any of the deputy DAs that work under Gascon, who have been so defiant and so disgruntled from day one.
Yeah, which is good, I guess. Hochman, I think, captures that vote. I think he. Look, this race really got very clear for me. I want to see Gascon get reelected. I think Hochman is a problem similar to what Sheriff Villanueva was on the sheriff's side. I think his style of politics, if elected, we aren't going to enjoy it.
Ed is always so understated. You aren't going to enjoy it.
You to get him on the show with some really hard hitting questions,
Yeah.
And I just watching his campaign, it is that, it's that sort of hard-nosed, we got to lock them all up politics that generally means that he's going to, it doesn't fare well for our community. And I'm all for safer community. Like, this isn't about giving a pass on anyone that commits crimes. This is about, administering justice in an equitable way, in a fair way, across the board. And I worry about this one.
Molly Bell says
politicking. I went on a full speech about it. But the point being, when we started talking about the DA's race, it's similar to Kevin De Leon. Gascon, there's a significant portion of the electorate that did not vote for him as the incumbent. He's got a long way to go to make that up, and presumably against a well-funded candidate, his chances in November don't look super strong.
Really, I think it's a tough battle because, as you said, most of those folks that were running against him attract a more right-wing group, right? All of those deputy DAs. So if you tally up all those votes, he loses. But I do think it's different in a general election. It'll be less confusing. You'll have a guy who was a Republican until 10 minutes ago, right? When he ran for Attorney General, he ran as a Republican in Hochman against a successful sitting DA, albeit one that's, attracted a lot of opposition. So I think it'll be a clearer race, and we'll see. I think you're right. Hochman raised a lot of money in the primary, and he I'm surely will in the general election. So that'll be a tough battle, but in some ways I think it'll be less confusing for people.
It is definitely. I mean, like we talked about with all of the different candidates, this race was almost not worth talking about until today, right? Now you know who's in the race. And, if DA Gascon can really rally the Democratic base, right, you need to see all of the endorsements around him that this is the guy. And now you've got a very clear foil, right, like in Hochman.
Yeah.
And you kind of expect that. And to your point, in the general, it's a different election. And if he has that, he can rally that. But I think looking at the numbers now, you would say he is still very vulnerable.
Well, Ed Sanders, as always, it is a pleasure to talk with you. Find him on Twitter. Yeah, I called it Twitter. I'm going to keep calling it Twitter. Edward M. Sanders. I'm DiPrima Radio, and we're at KBLA 1580. Ed, thanks so much.
Thanks. Good to talk with you. Have a great one today.
And you as well. You know why I say that? Because I saw an article where Elon Musk was getting mad because people were still calling it Twitter. So what an easy way to make him mad. Twitter. News, traffic, sports, and more politics when we come forward with Dr. Nicordelai Corte on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday, March 6th. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Texas governor just in Texas history. 70% of Hemp Hill County has burned.